This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. As I covered on this channel, witches, Satanists, occultists came out of the woodwork last night to put a massive hex, a binding spell on Donald Trump and anyone who supported or supports Donald Trump. Of course, this was encouraged by satanic musicians such as Lana Del Rey, who, believe it or not, I actually had people comment on the video I did saying that Lana Del Rey was a believer in Jesus Christ, a Christian and a follower of Jesus Christ, despite the fact that she tweeted saying she was preparing for her witchcraft ritual against Donald Trump. That's how blind people are to what's going on. We have Lana Del Rey admitting to being a witch, openly saying she's going to be putting a spell on Trump and his supporters for the next 4 months or every month until he is out of office. Yet her fans who worship her every move still are coming saying she's a real Christian. You're wrong. She believes in Jesus Christ. I mean, how dumb can you be? How stupid can society be? And how obsessed and blinded by these false idols can people be? The answer is it's at unbelievable levels, the stupidity that is going on in this country. Now, it seems that not many of these witches actually showed up outside Trump Tower, despite many, many witches worldwide casting their spells and posting them on Instagram and Twitter. There's actually video of what's going on outside Trump Tower. It's really embarrassing, to be honest. Well, I can't play the video because they're actually reading the spell, and I'm not going to put that out there for people to see the spell. Because, of course, these spells, you could be put under these spells. But let's just put it this way. It's a bunch of embarrassing women who have nothing better to do at midnight on a Friday night than sit outside of Trump Tower and put on a pathetic little witchcraft spell on Donald Trump and his followers. Now, the only thing I hope is that people out there who are liberals didn't fall into following this and going along with it because they hate Donald Trump so much, because they're falling into this divide and conquer agenda. Because we don't need more people influenced by witchcraft and sorcery and Satanism, because we already have enough people out there influenced by this trash. But as Twitter was flooded last night with photos of witches posting photos of their spells, their setups, and their altars, the witches went forward with their gigantic mass ritual, binding ritual on Trump and his followers. I'll read you some of what occurred here. There was much fanfare when witches across the world and singer Lana Del Rey pledged to stand together and cast a spell on Donald Trump on Friday night. But it seems the self-proclaimed witches gathered outside Trump Tower in New York couldn't conjure up much of a crowd. There was only a handful of people gathered outside the president's Manhattan Midtown penthouse as witches worldwide prepared to cast a magic spell at midnight. Men and women had pledged to cast spells under the crescent moon in a bid to stop Trump from doing harm while also possibly banishing him from office. So you see some of these people here, some of these witches, nothing going on in their lives, staying up till midnight to light pictures of Donald Trump on fire, to put on their ridiculous spells. Of course, people out there still think this stuff's not real, as if people would do this stuff and believe in this stuff for no reason without seeing results. And sadly, we have Christians who don't believe in it, even though the Bible talks openly about demonic possession. God talks about sorcery and witchcraft and to avoid these things, and that they do exist, and they do go on, but people still don't believe it's real. Christians especially, which is really sad to see. It says the first one was scheduled for Friday night and is set to be followed by similar spells cast on March 26th, April 24th, and May 23rd. So these other ones will be occurring during the spring equinox, which isn't a surprise, like I said yesterday. It says Lana Del Rey had earlier tweeted a photo of herself with the caption, "At the stroke of midnight, February 24th, March 26th, April 24th, May 23rd. Ingredients can be found online." Her tweet appeared to be referencing the spell being shared by the witchcraft community online as they prepared to hex Trump. Instructions on how to carry out the binding spell went viral earlier in the week, and a Facebook group titled Bind Trump was set up designed to answer people's questions on how to perform the spell. So just more of this stuff getting out in the open, right? We have Facebook groups now openly talking about how to put spells on people and hexes. I'm sure those already existed, but this brings more attention to it because people are hearing about Donald, people are hating Donald Trump. People are thinking of whatever they can do to stop Donald Trump, whether it's March or whatever. And now they're indoctrinating young kids out there who are, don't even know what's going on. All they hear is how bad he is in the media because this is what they're doing with this divide and conquer, especially young children who worship these false idols, these musicians and these actors. These people are targeting the young children and trying to influence them. We have 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds who are into politics, which is insane to think about. When I was 10, 12 years old, I mean, the stuff I was thinking about, throwing a baseball, against the net. And we got kids out there who are into this stuff. And then they're being influenced now to get involved in this witchcraft to stop Donald Trump. The witches are telling him, oh, you could stop him. All of these, 40-year-old women outside here. We got some men as well participating, holding up their candles, looking like buffoons. They have like little birthday candles. I guess they went to Party City and picked up some birthday candles for a cake, and they're holding them, lighting them, having a good time. It's funny, too. You see all these women holding up their cell phones, recording themselves as they do the ritual. So you see the self-idol worship. They're putting on this spell, which is, obviously in witchcraft and in Satanism and the occult, they take this stuff very, very seriously. And spells can go backwards on these witches, especially when, they don't conjure up enough energy and don't put enough focus into the spell and things like that. And we have these witches who are doing this spell holding up their cell phones. One woman's got 2 cell phones, one in each hand, as she's recording herself doing the ritual going, look at me, I'm outside Trump Towers doing a spell. I'm 45 years old and single, and I don't know why, but look at me. I'm still hocus pocus spell outside Trump Tower. Get a life, lady. It's embarrassing. We see other Satanists, of course, there. All in black, not a surprise. We see signs that say, topple the tower, sweep away the regime, as the witches cast their spells. It says, among the objects required to complete the spell was an unflattering photo of Trump, a tiny orange candle, a tower tarot card. Oh, how cute, representing the tower, Trump Tower, and bowls of water and salt. I don't know if they had maybe some gum issues. They wanted to gargle with salt water. Maybe that's so. A pin which is used to carve Trump's name on the candle was also required. The instructions stated that the items should be arranged around the individual in a pleasing position, along with a feather, a white candle, and an ashtray or dish filled with sand. I'm surprised that the requirements for the spell, the candle and all this stuff they use, also didn't call for a bedpan and hamburger helper. Give me a break. The article goes on to say that a prayer for protection was to be said by all participants before they launched into the chant, which was allegedly created by a member of a private magical order. Some high-ranking witch clearly was in charge and on location there, and in these other locations undisclosed around the world. This was the only one that was openly out there that I heard of looking into this story. Was Trump Tower, of course, but I'm sure worldwide they had their secret underground network meeting up in places with these high-ranking witches and warlocks and occultists and high-ranking wizards showing up in their Harry Potter costumes to put on this spell. But they had to do a prayer for protection to try to make sure no harm goes back onto them. But God's in control here, and he'll send the harm right back onto them, that's for sure. So while people like Lana Del Rey were pushing this, trying to get people to show up and protest, many were posting pictures of their altars, like I said earlier, on Instagram, on Twitter. They have living in, studio apartments in New York, have somehow fitting an altar into their apartments. I mean, it's embarrassing stuff. But going out of their way, like I constantly say with this social media nonsense, to promote themselves and say, look at me, I'm putting on a spell. Let me just pose for a picture in front of my altar in my bathroom with my candles and my chia pet. Hold on, it's cheese. I mean, it's just unbelievable. These witches are unbelievable. It's amazing to me that people are interested in joining this, that they think that this is cool, that people see this, they go, ooh, I want to try it. It is embarrassing. It is disgraceful. And all the power they conjure up through their spells and their witchcraft is no power, not even close to the power of the Holy Spirit. They can't touch any of us who have faith, who have salvation. But they can go after many others out there, unfortunately. And that's why it's important to talk about this stuff, in my opinion. Because there are children out there who have not been born again. There are young teens out there that don't know what's going on. And, the way that they portray Christianity in the media is that we're hateful, we're bigots. It's the guy in the button-down shirt, the conservative-looking weird guy with the weird hair and the glasses, and they make him look dorky. Then they only show them protesting outside of, gay pride parades and stuff like that to make them look like awful people. And then the media, of course, bashes them. And they show the witches and stuff, and they're glorified. Johnny Depp, openly dressed and talking like a warlock because he is one. All these celebrities dressing and talking about this stuff, and then, of course, glorifying it in these movies, making it look cool. Johnny Depp hanging out with the West Memphis Three. These people who are, should be on death row, who are alive, walking the streets after ritually sacrificing kids. And then, of course, creating these bogus documentaries to try to put the attention on someone else because these kids were practicing Aleister Crowley's teachings. They even had a blood contract with him and a blood oath. So, of course, Hollywood went out of their way to save them and try to create this giant witch hunt once again because they want people to believe that the Christians are the bad ones and the crazy ones. And that's really part of the problem here. But it's embarrassing to me that they put this together and they couldn't get more than, 20 people to show up outside Trump Tower. But it's good to see that more people didn't show up. Unfortunately, this was more of a social media event. People were, tweeting this. They have Facebook groups. They were still influencing young kids out there. Hopefully these children are smart enough to realize that this is an embarrassment and a disgrace. All you got to do is look at the people involved. I mean, literally, they went to Yankee Candle and grabbed the cheapest candle they could find. Some of them went to Party Fair, got birthday candles because they couldn't get anything else. They're sitting on the street corner at midnight, holding them up, smiling, posing for selfies. Give me a break times 1,000. So let's all continue to pray privately for, safety and protection over the children out there who might be influenced by this stuff, that they can see through it, that they can see God's light, and they can't be influenced by these demonic, disgusting human beings. I don't even want to call them human beings, who worship the devil, who practice this black magic, who get away with this stuff in public because they pretend that it's not harmful, it's no big deal, we're all having a good time. And everybody goes along with it and thinks that it's a good old time because the media and everyone else out there continues to make sorcery and witchcraft and Satanism and occultism seem like a work of fiction, that it's not real, that these people are just atheists who just like to partake in these things for no reason whatsoever. It's a complete, absolute joke. So if you ask me, this thing was a gigantic flop and fail. As always, God is in control and destroying these things, but let's just hope and pray that kids out there weren't influenced by it, weren't deceived by it because or even young, 18 to 20-year-olds who are liberal, who don't have a clue about God, and who are raised in the school systems on evolution, that they don't fall victim into being indoctrinated into witchcraft and the occult, because that's really what this was about. It was another way for them to get their name out there. These women who put their faces out there publicly should be shamed and embarrassed, because this is an absolute disgrace and an embarrassment. Go take some more selfies of yourselves, ladies. No one's interested. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.